Hello students, in this video we'll be covering all the topics of communication of Unit 1 from Employability Skills. Before we could move on to understand further topics, we will first revise the topics that we have already covered in last video. So first we'll see what is communication. In short, we can say that communication is the process of transference of message from sender to receiver. Next we have communication cycle. As we all know that communication is a two-way process where messages are transmitted from sender to receiver and feedback or response is given back to the sender. This complete process forms a kind of cycle which is known as communication cycle. Next we have elements of communication. We have already discussed these elements, which are sender, message, encoding, channel, receiver, decoding and feedback. The flow of message throughout the communication cycle is specified with the help of this diagram displayed. As we have already discussed communication styles, which are verbal, non-verbal, visual and written, wherein verbal involves the use of words while communicating, non-verbal involves gestures, facial expressions, body language, etc. to communicate. Visual communication involves the usage of signs, topography, drawings, images, etc. to transmit the information, and written communication involves all the written words. For example, manuals, reports for transferring information. Next we have types of communication, which we have already discussed in the last video. So we'll see with the help of this diagram that communication is divided in two parts based on the communication channel and based on style and purpose. Based on communication channel, communication is divided into two parts, non-verbal and verbal, where verbal is further divided into two, oral and written. Oral, which is further divided into face-to-face and distance. Based on style and purpose, communication is divided into two parts, formal and informal. Now we'll cover further topics of the same unit. So first let's have a look on feedback. In simple words, we can say that feedback is a response, or we can say a reply transmitted from recipient to sender. The feedback enables sender to evaluate the effectiveness of communication. Feedback can be both. It can be negative as well as positive. If the feedback is positive, then the process is considered as successful. But if it is negative, then sender is required to start the process all over again. In short, without feedback, communication remains incomplete. Now let's see the points specified there on the screen. Feedback is a final component and one of the most important factor in the process of communication because it is used to judge the effectiveness of the complete process. It is defined as the response given by the receiver to sender. Response or a reply. The sender needs response of the receiver in order to decide the effectiveness of communication. Whether the message is understood properly by the receiver or not can only be judged with the help of this response. As we have already studied that feedback can be negative or positive. If it is positive, then the communication is considered successful. If it is negative, then the sender is required to start the process all over again. Feedback plays an important part in communication because it tells both the source and the receiver how their messages are being interpreted. In communication process, receivers respond to the messages received from sender. This response of the receiver to sender's message is called feedback. Now there are different ways of giving feedback which are displayed there on the screen. Let's see them. Feedback can be sent in the form of idea, advice. It can be a result, rating, comment, survey, opinion or a response. Now we'll study types of feedbacks. Feedback can be of two types, that is specific or general, where Feedback is considered as specific if it gives detailed information about particular person, whereas feedback is considered as general if it uses general statements that can be applicable for many people. Like the example is given there on the screen, good job or you did great. Let's read the note that is given at the end of the page, which will help us to understand the term better. Descriptive feedback is a specific information in the form of written comments or verbal conversation that help the learner understand what she or he needs to do in order to improve. Next we have communication barriers, which means all those obstacles we can say which prevent us from proper transference of message. As the simplest definition of the term is also stated there on the screen. Let's read it. A communication barrier is thus anything that prevents us from receiving and understanding the messages others use to convey their information, ideas and thoughts. Next we have the list of some common barriers to the process of communication, which are physical, language, gender, attitudinal, perceptual, cultural and emotional. Wherein this first physical barrier means if the distance between sender and receiver is more, then the communication will become ineffective because they need to search for any kind of medium to communicate. Then language barrier means when the sender uses a kind of language which is not understandable or comprehensive enough for the receiver, again the process will become unsuccessful. Example to this barrier can be the usage of short forms, those which are in trend on social media these days. So if we communicate in those buzzwords or short forms, then if receiver is not able to understand, again the communication becomes unsuccessful. Next is gender barrier, which specifies the difference in communication styles of females and males that can further lead to ineffectiveness of communication. Then next barrier is attitudinal barrier, which is specified there on the screen. In attitudinal barrier, it involves the wrong attitude that are commonly formed by an individual's opinion or personal feeling on a subject. Therefore, attitudinal barrier are behavior or perception that prevents people from communicating properly. Then we have perceptual barrier, wherein perception plays a very important role. Perception means how people understand or interpret the message. People have their own point of views to understand a message. Therefore, due to the differences in the understanding or perception of receiver and sender, the process of communication can become ineffective. Then we have cultural barrier, wherein our religious and social differences can create misunderstanding while communicating, as people belonging to different culture have different opinions for a particular message. Then we have emotional barrier, which indicates if a person is filled with any sort of emotion, that is anger or fear. He or she will neither understand the message properly nor will properly communicate the message. So here we end up the explanation of all the common types of barriers. Now we'll see the ways, the measures to overcome any sort of obstacle while we communicate with someone. So these are the ways to overcome the barriers. So we'll understand each of the following point. First, we should try to interact face to face so that we can understand both verbal as well as non-verbal cues. Then we should remove all sort of distractions or disturbances from our surroundings so that we can focus and understand the intent properly. Like, while watching this video, you should try to maintain such an environment that is not disturbing for you so that you can understand the topic efficiently. Next is, when you are communicating with someone, you are required to consider the needs of recipient. We need to quote a message in such a way that the language should be understandable for the receiver, and should not be hurting for the receiver. Next we have soften your tone and language. So next point specifies that while communicating, sender should soften his or her tone and language, as we cannot convey our message rudely to any person. And at last, encourage feedback to assess that your message is understood properly by the receiver. We are required to encourage them to give response or reply which is effective enough to identify the successful completion. Now we will study 7 C's of communication which are to be considered while communicating. These can also be considered as the principles of communication. These 7 C's indicate the feature of message to be sent by the sender, which are: first is completeness, so which indicates that the message or information to be transmitted should be complete. Message should be made while considering the requirements of the receiver. The next C is conciseness, which states that the message should not be lengthy, okay, as it may cause confusion, it may cause ambiguity. So message should be made using less number of words with appropriate meaning. Then next C is consideration, which informs us that while creating the message, we should consider the self-respect of recipient. Message should not be meant to hurt the person who is receiving it, for whom the message is meant to be. Then fourth C is clarity, which indicates that the message should not be confusing. Message should follow a proper sequence to avoid any ambiguity or confusion. Fifth C is concreteness, which specifies us about the clarity rather than being unclear. It focuses on appropriateness and preciseness or exactness of the message to be transferred. Sixth C is courtesy, that refers to the tone of the message. Your message should be humble, polite, and enthusiastic. Next we have the 7th C and the last C, which is correctness, that denotes the message must be without any grammatical error, otherwise it will lead to miscommunication. Now we have completed all the topics of Unit 1. I hope I have explained each and everything comprehensively. That's all from my side, students. Thank you and have a great day.